Yo, what's good YouTube? Sam Crow here, aka Scoop, back with the International Draft Masters Season 2, Week number 3, and we're taking on Tosh, coach of the Exeter Chief Electivires. Hopefully I'm saying that right, I'm not sure. Our opponent is last season's runner-up. He made it to the finals and lost to AccuVGC and his McGarrett. But outside of that, he had a fantastic season. Defeated us in week 1 last season, and we're getting a chance for redemption here in week 3 already to make that right with Tosh. So, like I said, he is 0-1, 0-2 going into the battle. He's actually had a rougher start to this season, but both of his battles have been 1-0 losses. He's only losing by a margin of 1 differential. His team consists of Mega Charizard X, Landorus Therian, which is his Z-move user, Weavile, Togekiss, Superior, Jellicent, Registeel, Jolteon, Xatu, Smeargle, and Pineco, which is also his Z-move user. I also think that he had just a little bit different team. I think he just made some trades. I'm not exactly sure if they're updated, but I think this was his exact team whilst we played. So, our team is, as always, Tapu Koko, Mamoswine, Hoopa Unbound, Z Bronzong, Z Volcarona, Serena, Seismitoad, Mienshao, Mandibuzz, Mini Hippo, which is our 3rd Z-move user, and Mega Garchomp. So, pretty fun squad here. We do have a decent matchup. I wouldn't say either of us have a bad matchup. I think it's pretty fair in both regards. He has things like Landorus, Zard, and Weavile, which can pressure my team quite a bit. And I have things like Mamoswine, Tapu Koko, and Volcarona, Mega Garchomp, which can pressure his team somewhat. So I do think this is a pretty fair matchup, and I think that it can be a pretty fun game. So, that being said, the first thing I noticed was I wanted to bring a Tapu Koko. I know I wanted to bring Tapu Koko, and I wanted to run a Shaco Berry for his potential for like Landorus, Choice Scarf Landorus, or like a Rock Polish Landorus or something like that. I wanted to be able to take an Earthquake and be able to hit it back with Dazzling Gleam. I could have ran Hidden Power Ice. However, I don't think Hidden Power Ice, I couldn't justify bringing it just for Landorus when Dazzling Gleam is doing, nearly, it's doing at least 35% to defensive sets, bulky sets. Now if he's an offensive set, Dazzling Gleam can do a little bit over half or something like that. I am modest max special attack since I am afforded to be able to run that nature, since I don't need to speed creep certain things. Like I naturally outpace Mega Charizard, Landorus, Togekiss, Weavile, Surf. Like I basically outspeed his entire team outside of Jolteon. And I don't expect him to be running like max speed Weavile. I think he can comfortably set at speed creeping base 100s with things like Weavile and Serp and Jolteon. I think he can comfortably speed creep base 100s or base 105s like my Mienshao. I think that's more of a likely bring for him. So my Koko's actually sitting at enough speed to outpace Weavile and Jolteon and Superior if they're only speed creeping Mienshao. So if Mienshao sets at 339 speed, if he's speed creeping me and he sets at 340 or anywhere from 340 to 343, then I'll be outpacing him since I'm sitting at 344. I could have ran a timid nature and run a lot more bulk, but I felt like running a modest nature is just it's much more beneficial. It gets me more damage off and whatnot. I can taunt his entire team because I outpace. I can prevent Mega Charizard from setting up a Dragon Dance and then running through my team. Say it's Koko and Bronzong and Mandibuzz versus Lastmon Charizard or something. He brings in Charizard on my Koko and he wants to Dragon Dance to try to sweep. then I'm going to click taunt and prevent that from happening. I don't mind if Koko dies as long as I click taunt, and then I can bring in Mana Buzz and click foul play or something like that. So yeah, having taunt's really nice. I can also roost up. I can take hits from Jellicent, can take Seismic Toss from Registeel and not worry about like being paralyzed. Like Thunder Wave is a nasty Registeel set. So I can not be paralyzed. I can roost up on Seismic Tosses, and I can also take hits from Jolteon and roost up. Like I said, I can take hits from Jellicent. I can take Air Slashes from Togekiss pretty comfortably. And like if Landorus goes for its Earthquake and it pops my Sugar Berry, and then I knock him out, and then he brings something else in, like Togekiss or Registeel or Jolteon or something that I could potentially roost up on, then I can do just that and roost up after taking significant damage. But that's just about all for Tapu Koko. I guess we can move on to the next Pokemon we got here. We got Akivijisi, our Focus Sash Mamoswine, with the Thick Fat ability, since he does have Mega Charizard with the Flare Blitz, and Oblivious doesn't really matter. His only mons that would be taunting me would be something like Weavile or Serp. Otherwise, I outpace his other taunters. But Serp and Weavile aren't really wanting to take an Icicle Crash or an Earthquake, so I don't really see them clicking taunt and preventing me from getting my rocks up. I am running enough speed to outpace base 73s, I want to say. I'm not sure exactly. I'm trying to think of, like, what is his speed. I have 216 EVs with a Jolly Nature. It sets me at 275, which outpaces things like Nidoqueen. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. He don't have a Nidoqueen, so I'm trying to think off the top of my head, like, what else does this outpace? There's a reason that I'm Jolly and not Adamant, because I'm pretty close to Adamant. My speed's so low that I could have ran Adamant. So there has to be a reason here on why I am this. Let me just take a look at something real quick. So let's see here. It outpaces no speed Serp. It does not outpace no speed Weavile. What else? Let's see here. Let's take a look at the rest of my team. Serena. If he's okay, I see now. If he's using something like Togekiss to outpace something like Serena, or using his base 80s or his not slow mons but his not fast mons, if he's outpacing like things on my team such as Serena, Seismitoad, Mandibuzz, and stuff like that, then he's going to be at a range to where this Mamoswine actually can run max attack with a Jolly Nature and still do quite a bit of damage, whilst also outpacing a lot of his mons that might be speed creeping some of my slower mons. And I got the Focus Sash because this is a pretty solid lead versus his team. And if he leads with something like Superior, I wanted to be able to live any one hit and go for like a double Ice Shard, or because I don't want to risk the Icicle Crash miss. So instead of just clicking Icicle Crash while he clicks Leaf Storm, I would rather just click Ice Shard, take the Leaf Storm, and then, or actually I'll be taking the Leaf Storm first. So the Ice Shard will go off first. Okay, since I'm clicking Ice Shard, I actually go first. So I Ice Shard, he Leaf Storms, and then I Ice Shard again, he should die. It should pick up the knockout. And that prevents me from missing Icicle Crash. I don't even have to risk it. Focus Sash also lets me lead off against a lead Charizard if he goes for a Flare Blitz. He shouldn't knock me out since I'm thick fat, but in case that he got a crit or a high roll, or he's got an Adamant Zard or something like that, then the Focus Sash prevents my death and also allows me to click Earthquake and get the return knockout, so that's pretty nice. This thing does work against Landorus, does work against Togekiss, Serp, not Jellicent, but Registeel. Prevents Jolteon from Volt Switch spamming around my team. Hits Xatu pretty hard, and Smeargle pretty hard. Oh, Smeargle. I'm outpacing Smeargle. So I can prevent I can prevent Smeargle from. First of all, I have the electric terrain, so I can prevent it from sporing. It cannot spore me. Uh, it cannot rest itself or anything like that. So I can lead Tapu Koko and taunt, lead Smeargle, and if he's not the mental herb, then he'll obviously be taunted, and it prevents him from putting me to sleep. Anyway, so the best he could do is get rocks or webs up, in which I could just Thunderbolt to hit KO and then later defog those away. But anyways, back to Mammal Swine. This is a pretty solid mon. It does lack power since it's a jolly nature Mammal Swine and has a focus sash, no life orb, no metronome, no earth plate, no ice plate, nothing like that. So not absolutely strong in this match, but still strong enough to do what it needs to do. Next up, we got Sebi VGC. Our Bronzong, leftovers, levitate ability with reflect, gyro ball, explosion, and toxic. Got enough special defense investment to come in on a leaf storm from a neutral SERP. Watch it go to +2, I think, and then I can take a hidden power fire afterwards and do around half with gyro ball. And if I know that explosion could potentially be the better play, I can always just explode on my on whatever might be in front of me. If he has Jellicent, I'm a little bit more reluctant to click that. Same for Registeel. I don't want to click it and it not do anything to something. And I got the Toxic there. Toxic's nice versus like Mega Charizard that wants to switch in on Bronzong, Landers, Weavile. It's actually really good versus his entire team outside of Registeel. So it's pretty dope. If I can get it to land on something like Jellicent, then Volcarona and Mammal Swine, and me and Shao have a little bit easier time versus the rest of his team. Bronzong also checks Togekiss pretty comfortably and has enough defensive investment to take hits from things like Lander, like a Z Landers with knockoff, like Black Hole Eclipse. Is that what it's called? I'm not sure. But yeah, Gyro Ball is doing a lot. It knocks out the Weavile. It does a lot to Togekiss, especially if it's offensive variant. It does a lot to Fast Serp. And the Explosion is doing a pretty decent amount to everything else outside of Jellicent and Registeel. So yeah, it's really nice. Got enough attack investment so that Gyro Ball always 2-hit KO Serp. I need to be able to 2-hit KO Serp, or else it's going to be a problem. Especially if he, if Bronzong and Serp, if Bronzong hasn't taken any damage, it will 3-hit KO Serp before Serp can 3-hit KO me. No, it will 2-hit KO Serp before Serp can 3-hit KO me. So that's pretty dope. Next up, we have our Volcarona, which is for the third week in a row, we are running a Boogie MZ Quiver Dance Dual Stab Roost set. Like I said in the last part of our prep videos, we don't mind to continuously run this set if it's what works out. However, this time it's a little bit different. We do have a little bit more defense investment, a little bit more special attack investment, and a little bit less speed investment with a Timid Nature and max HP. So the idea here was basically set up a Quiver Dance and be able to run through my opponent's team once Mega Charizard X is weakened. That's literally the only Pokemon that I need weakened, like 100% weakened. Like I need it to be super weakened. Otherwise, I can't do much. I could have ran Hidden Power Rock, Hidden Power Ground. I didn't deem it necessary because I felt the rest of my team dealt with Charizard pretty well, so that Volcarona wouldn't have to. So I can just click Quiver Dance, and Fiery Dance runs through things like Landorus, Weavile, Togekiss, Serp, Registeel, Jolteon, Xatu, Smeargle, and Pinecone, where Bug Buzz is actually going to be able to hit Jellicent just a little bit harder than Fiery Dance, and then I can roost up and whatnot. So, like, my HP and defense investment allows me to take, like, Icicle Crash from Togekiss, Knockoff from Togekiss pretty comfortably, and he's always risking the Flame Body with Knockoff. Also, things like Landers. Like, Landers can't knock me out with an Earthquake. After Rocks it can, but without Rocks it cannot. and Mega Charizard X. If he's like if he's like Flare Blitz, if he's Jolly Flare Blitz, then I think it's a roll. I would have to recalculate that, so don't take my word on it. But I think it's a roll. But mainly my defense investment here is to make sure that I can live hits from Weavile. I can take hits from Serp pretty well, and I have enough special attack investment and speed investment to potentially be able to like just reverse sweep him, or not reverse sweep him, but set up sweep him. After a Quiver Dance, I'm outpacing things like so I've expected his Charizard to, his base 100s to outpace Mamoswine, even Landorus Therian, Mega Charizard, and things like that can't actually outpace base 100s. I think should be speed creeping my base 80s, like Hoopa and Mamoswine. So I'm having my Volcarona set at a speed where it's it's speed creeping mons that are speed creeping base 80s. And then after a Quiver Dance, even if he's got like a Choice Scarf mon that's speed creeping a base 80 mon, and after a Quiver Dance, I would be faster still. And I have enough special attack investment to make sure that Fiery Dance and Bug Buzz are doing just enough to mons that would like to switch in, such as Jellicent, Registeel, Jolteon. Not saying Registeel's a switch into Volcarona or anything. I'm just saying, like, if it's something I need to kill immediately, Fiery Dance is doing quite a bit unless he's a Spadef set. And at +1, this also gives me the power to break things like Jellicent with the Savage Spin Out, and Landorus with the Fiery Dance at +1, unless he's like, if he's max HP, it should still pick up the knockout after rocks, but if he's like got Spadef investment or something like that, then it's a little bit different. So next up we have our Mandibuzz, which is a Taunt, Foul Play, Roost, Defog set. Not running U-turn this week. It bit us in the ass last week after performing well in the first week. But yeah, definitely running this Mandibuzz set here. Have enough defense investment to take on Charizard. Even after a Dragon Dance, it can't knock me out after Stealth Rocks. So I come in on Stealth Rocks, I'm at 76%. A +1 Adamant Flare Blitz will not knock me out from 76%. So I can click Foul Play and do a Crap Ton to Charizard. Knocks out after Stealth Rocks if he's in regular form, and it's a 2-hit KO if he hasn't taken rocks damage. I can taunt things like slow Landorus. I can taunt slow Togekiss that might have Thunder Wave, Jellicent and Registeel as well. So that's pretty dope. If he brings Smeargle and he brings like max HP, max speed or something like that, he'll outpace my Mandibuzz. But I can always, like, as he sets up rocks, I can defog, and then he sets up rocks, I can defog, and then eventually I'm going to catch him with a taunt, and then I can defog the rocks and spikes or toxic spikes or sticky web, whatever he may want to throw up. He can't put me to sleep with Spore either, so that's pretty dope. And then I think that's right. I think Spore is a powder move. And got the leftovers and a little bit of speed investment to maybe speed creep something that may have no speed investment, such as things like, what could I be speed creep? I actually don't see anything on his team that I could potentially be speed creeping. So I'm not sure if the 20 EVs in speed is a missed thing, then it should be in Spadef or not, but we're just going to roll with it. So we got the Foul Play, does quite a bit to Landorus Therian, does quite a bit to Megazord X. It's not doing quite that much to anything else, but it's doing enough chip damage to where I can switch out into my counter, or I can roost up and then switch out into my counters for other things on his team, such as like if he brings Togekiss in and Foul Play did nothing and he reveals leftovers or something, he's more than likely like a Paraflinch, maybe a Wish Pass or just a defog support kind of Togekiss, and I can switch out to Bronzong and not be too afraid. Also Koko and Mamoswine pressure the rest of his team. That would otherwise be problematic to Mandibuzz. Nice defensive set here. I felt like Bronzong and Mandibuzz synergized really well in this matchup. And last but not least, we have our Life Orb Mienshao with the Regenerator ability. with Substitute, Drain Punch, Workup, and Baton Pass. Now this looks weird because he has Landorus, he has Togekiss, he has Jellicent, he has Xatu, lots of things that Mono Drain Punch me and Xiao can't actually hit. But me and Xiao's actually here to lure some things in. I want to be able to bring my Mian Xiao in, and then I want to be able to see his Landers or his Togekiss come in as a check, or his Jellicent come in as a check as I baton pass out. I can also click something like Substitute. If I have Mian Xiao in, if I bring Mian Xiao in to revenge kill something, and he switches out into Jellicent, and I click a sub, predicting his switch or predicting him to not have anything to hit me with or something, or he just goes into Jellicent and can't hit me and can't break my sub, then I can start to click Workup. And if I click Workup once and baton pass that into Tapu Koko, and he has no choice scarfers or something like that, then Tapu Koko's going to go ham. Same thing for Mamoswine. Same thing for Volcarona. All really solid recipients of a workup being baton passed into them. Drain Punch can hit things like Zard and Weavile, Serp, Registeel, Jolteon, Smeargle, and Pineco, but really not doing that much to its team. And this thing, like I said, this thing is more of a meme brain, but in a sense, it can really open up lanes for my other Pokemon, which is, that's the main reason that we play this game, is to create a plan to open up a hole in your opponent's, defense for something else. So yeah, definitely gonna like this set here. Hopefully I can pull off some kind of baton pass, whether I'm just baton passing a sub to something or baton passing an entire workup to something. That'd be really cool. Also, if his fighting checks like Landers, Togekiss, and Jellicent are gone, then perhaps even a workup Mian Xiao is nice. Now, I do have Life Orb and I do have Regenerator, so that kind of negates each other, as well as Drain Punch, getting some major health back as well. But yeah, this is going to be the team, and we can hop into the replay, and we'll be right back. Alright, so here we are with the replay, and my opponent brings a scary squad. He brings the Weavile, Mega Charizard X, Serp, Jellicent, Kiss, and the Landers Therian, which could potentially be a Z-move user. It's the only Z-move user he could bring, or not that he could bring, but the only option that he has that he did bring. So, yeah, if I see Leftovers or Rocky Helmet or something, I know he's not going to be a Z-move user. If I see something like, see him outpace something that he shouldn't be outpacing, I know he's Choice Scarf and not the Z move. Togekiss is scary. He does have 3 different defoggers on his team. I don't expect Charizard to be a defogger, but Serp and Togekiss and Landers actually. So he's got 4. Excuse me. He's got 4 that could potentially defog. Landers makes sense as a defensive role in this matchup, since I do have things such as Hoopa, Koko, Mienshao, Mega Garchomp. So it makes sense that he brings a defensive Landers, if that is a defensive Landers, with something like Stealth Rocks, Earthquake, Defog, and perhaps U-Turn or something, or Knockoff. Could potentially be a set. Togekiss could be quite a few things. Could be quite a few things. So it's a little bit different. Could be defog support. Could be Paraflinch. Could be Scarf. Could be Trick. Could be a lot of different things. Could be Specs variant as well. Could catch me off guard with the Specs variant. Jellicent looks to be more of like a defensive type Pokemon in this matchup. Takes hits from Mamoswine pretty solidly. Can Will-O-Wisp, Roost Up, or not Roost Up, but Recover. Can throw off Toxics and Shadow Balls versus my team. So if he catches my Mandibuzz with a Toxic, Jellicent could actually be problematic. Especially if I let Koko get weakened. I don't really have a means of weakening it immediately. So he has the Serp as well. It's pretty fast. It's could potentially be outpacing a lot of my team. Like I said, I don't expect him to be max speed Serp. I expect him to be speed creeping my Mienshao, which my Koko is then in turn speed creeping his Pokemon as well. So hopefully his Weavile, his Serp, just Weavile and Serp are his 2 fastest Pokemon. Hopefully they're speed creeping just Mienshao. And if that's the case, then my Koko will outpace those as well. Once Landers is gone, Thunderbolt's a free spam in the electric terrain, and that's pretty dope. I can potentially weaken Landers and catch him off guard with my Sugar Berry and hit him with a Dazzling Gleam. If he's a Choice Scarf variant and it leads with it, I can just click Dazzling Gleam or Taunt, prevent rocks, can get some chip damage off and whatnot. And yeah, that's just the general idea here at Team Preview. Weavile actually can murk my defensive core with Icicle Crash and Knockoff. So I need to watch out for Weavile and maybe use my Volcarona more as a defensive mon and potentially catch a Flame Body on this menace called Weavile. So I'm going to lead off with my Mamoswine here. I felt like it matched up well against everything outside of Jellicent. And I think my opponent noticed that as well and wanted to make sure that I didn't lead Mamoswine and get an early advantage. So he leads off with his Jellicent. This is bad for me because I can't do much damage to this thing. I can set up Stealth Rocks, but I risk being poisoned. I risk being Will-O-Wisp, or just getting hit with a heavy, strong Scald and being burned. So not really ideal here, and I can't stay in. So I'm going to hard switch out to Bronzong as he goes for the Toxic. So I get that read right. I didn't think he would potentially a Scald. I didn't think he would go for Shadow Ball or anything like that. So I could double out to my Mamoswine or my Mandibuzz here. But I'm just going to take the time to go ahead and click this Toxic. I need to make sure that Jellicent is weakened. Now that Jellicent is going to be on a timer, I'm a little bit more inclined to attack next time with Mamoswine. And it's less of a problem to Mienshao now. If I get behind the sub, I can just sub stall while it, takes residual toxic damage, and it's eventually going to build up to the point where Mienshao can win that 1v1. And since I do have Regenerator, I can always get my sub health back, so that's really nice. So nice and toxic here. I'm going to stay in one more turn as he goes for the Shadow Ball once again, and I get a Reflect up. So this Reflect, I was actually hoping he would hard switch into Zard or Landers on this turn, as I get up a Reflect and then can hard switch into Mandibuzz. But he stays in and clicks Shadow Ball, so now I'm at less than 33%, meaning I can no longer check Serp, and I can no longer check Togekiss, because a couple flinches and I'm gone. And Serp can hit me up with the Leaf Storm into a Hidden Power Fire and knock me out at this range easily. Could potentially knock me out with double Leaf Storm if he's very offensive with like a Life Orb or something. So yeah, do get my Reflect up here though. And now I can hard switch out into Mandibuzz, as it will take nothing from Shadow Ball, and I can taunt it and prevent it from toxicking me. I didn't think he would go for Toxic on that turn. It wouldn't make no sense. So this was the best middle ground play in my opinion. So here I'm just going to click the Foul Play as my opponent reveals Toxic Zard. So he's probably a Toxic Fire Spin set, knowing that Mandibuzz was a pretty solid check to an offensive DD Zard or something like that. So here I'm going to double out into Mamoswine. Not really predicting the Togekiss, but it worked out. So I figured his play there was to Roost or switch to Togekiss, and he does make the switch to Togekiss, which is super solid, and I'm going to be able to have my Mamoswine in, and I know I can't be paralyzed because I'm a ground type, and Air Slash isn't going to do, that much, so I'm just going to set my Stealth Rock up, and he reveals Counter. So nice take there. I can't click Icicle Crash at this point because he could just click Counter, and he does it again as I hard switch out to Tapu Koko, and now my opponent is forced to switch out or take a Thunderbolt. However, seeing that he could switch out into something like Zard, Serp, or Lando to take the Thunderbolt, I'm just going to click the Dazzling Gleam, and it does quite a bit to Landers, so I'm pretty happy with that. I know next time I can 2-hit KO it as long as it's not Choice Scarf. And he actually doubles out into his Zard here as I'm going to click Taunt. The reason I click Taunt here is because I am Shuka Berry and I can prevent Stealth Rocks. I did see the Leftovers, so I know he's not a Z move or potentially more defensive. So I just click Taunt there to prevent the Stealth Rocks or Defog. Keeps rocks upon his side, prevents them from being on my side, and also covers any other play that he might want to do. And he does switch into the Zard there. So now he might suspect that I'm a Shuka Berry variant. However, I can just click Dazzling Gleam here and see how much this does. Does 27%, barely breaking a sub, had it been sub Zard. So a really nice Zard set there, really bulky with the Toxic, probably Fire Spin. I hope that's a Fire Spin set. That would be really dope. Pick up the knockout here though, but I am less than half at this point. So now things are a little bit more scary. I'm going to hard switch into Bronzong here as he goes for the Leaf Storm. He should be able to pick me off here, but he actually goes for the Substitute. So he loses 24% for no reason in my opinion. And now he's forced to click the Hidden Power Fire, and at this range he doesn't knock me out. So I'm able to get another big hit off with Gyro Ball. And now he goes for the Leaf Storm. He doesn't set up another sub or anything like that, so really cool there. However, he's more likely in Ice Shard range now, and definitely in range of 2 Ice Shards. So definitely just going to let Bronzong go down here and hard switch into Mamoswine, or bring Mamoswine hard out and just click the Ice Shard. I shouldn't have said hard switch there. We use draft league terms too freely out here, in my opinion. Anyways, I'm going to hard switch out into Mandibuzz. I'm already toxic, so I don't mind if it throws off a toxic. Or I'm already poisoned anyway, so I don't mind if it throws off a toxic. And here I can just click, or I'm going to double out into Koko, because he could switch into Togekiss, and I think he still wants to keep Jellicent relatively healthy. He actually goes for the Recover though. That's okay. I can just click Roost here myself and see what he wants to go for, and he does click the Scald. So I was hoping he would actually burn me here so that I didn't have a chance to be paralyzed. Poisoned. But no big deal. I'm just going to click the Thunderbolt here, and he switches out into Landers, and he's still Leftovers variant, so I know he's not faster than me. And he actually goes for the Defog this turn. Not expecting my second taunt here. He just clicks the Defog, so nice play there. Perhaps he knew that my Shuka Berry might not have saved me at that range. So I get my Mandibuzz back in. I can click Foul Play here, as he sets up his stealth rock. On the following turn, I can just defog those rocks away. Can't let those stay on the field. I do have a Volcarona, I do have a Mammothine, and a Mandibuzz at that. So here he goes hard into his Togekiss after getting his rocks up. I defog those away, and I'm going to hard switch out into my Tapu Koko because I can make anyone hit, and I prevent anything from being paralyzed. And yeah, he goes for the Air Slash, and I'm just going to roost that off. And the following turn, he is in range of Dazzling Gleam, as we saw earlier, so I can just click the Dazzling Gleam here. And what my opponent is wanting to try to do here is get me to click Thunderbolt so that he can come in with his Landorus once again and get a little leftovers back, and he would be out of range of Dazzling Gleam. But if that was the case, I would just keep making the switches. I can't afford to let Jellicent live there. It was a roll with Dazzling Gleam, so I did have to click the Thunderbolt. And he brings the Serp in. At this point, I just knew it was a little bit bulkier and was going to potentially live a Dazzling Gleam. So I'm just going to switch out to my Volcarona here. I know he's hidden power at fire, so I know that even at +1 he can't knock me out. And that he's not hidden power at rock, because he did significant damage to Bronzong. Anyways, like I said, using this Volcarona more as an as a defensive check to Serp and Weavile is actually going to come in handy here. Is I'm going to go into it and click Quiver Dance as my opponent misses a Leech Seed. Now the Leech Seed miss didn't matter because I would knock him out here. Actually run through his team here, most likely. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to click that Fiery Dance, and wait a second. Wait a second. Okay, so yeah, click that Fiery Dance and I knock out the Landers, and I expected Togekiss to potentially be Focus Sash. So I didn't want to be paralyzed, and I hard switch out into Mammoth so I get a little chip on it, and then bring in my Koko to, revenge kill it. And now at this range, Serp is just going to go ham on his team. He can't knock me out with one hit here. As you see, even a crit didn't knock me out there. So I'm going to be able to 2-hit KO this thing with Dazzling Gleam. Now my opponent can bring in the Weavile, and if he's a Choice-like variant, and he locks himself into Ice Shard to pick me off, he can't knock out, Mienshao or Volcarona. And if he's Choice Scarf variant, he can't knock out Mienshao or Volcarona anyway, unless he gets like Icicle Crest flinches. So I'm pretty comfortable just staying in here and seeing what he's got. He goes for the Ice Shard, knocks me out. I just bring in Mienshao here, and I know I live any one hit because he did not reveal, like if he was Choice Banned, he was locked into Ice Shard. But and if he wasn't, then he's not Choice Banned, and he didn't reveal Life Orb. So I was 100% living any move there. And I just click the Drain Punch, get all my health back, and pick up the final knockout. So yeah, it's going to be a good game to Melantosh. A little bit different than our last game. I think our last game was a little bit longer and had some stall involved, and was actually in his favor. And this time we're going to come out on top. And yeah, that's going to be it. Let me know what you thought about the prep on both sides of the battle. Let me know what you thought about counter Togekiss. Yeah, definitely let me know what you thought about counter Togekiss and the rest of his team and my team. Let me know what you thought about the battle. All the good stuff. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.